So it's Sunday dinner time with Sauce is Best. So first things first, as usual, you may hear my pets. Sorry about that. That's what seems to always happen here. Lastly, my meats have been marinating for a few hours now. Actually, the beef marinated overnight. And then the chicken, I just started marinating this morning because it took a lot longer to thaw out. So, what we're going to do right now is we're going to start getting some of the vegetables prepared. You guys can see I added an additional shelf over here for things. I'm so happy about that. I'm trying to create a smart kitchen with a lot of technological advanced cooking items. Gonna take time, but we're getting there one step at a time. I still need to order one more large stacking shelf and two stainless steel prep tables, but we're getting there. You know what I mean? I expect to have those in the next few weeks. So, the first thing we're gonna do, let me get a bag to put the trash in as we go. Might have a few here small ones. So the first thing we're going to do is just begin like dicing the veggies until we're ready to actually begin cooking, which I'm not ready to do just yet. I'm cooking, slow cooking in my large roaster pot, beef neck bones, and then I'll be making stuffed chicken. And none of these things take nearly as long to cook as a lot of the other things I normally cook. So I got to pace myself to make sure I don't overcook and end up with dry meat. So that's why I'm saying we're going to dice these vegetables for now just to get them started. But in actuality, like the other items, dinner is not going to take long at all today. I don't anticipate. We just got some steps in here we got to do, like dicing veggies, making our stuffing, things of that nature, making our gravy for the chicken. So, you know, things that take some time, but not too much time. Now, I prefer this little knife, although I shouldn't, because it makes no sense to use that little knife for something like this. So, let me grab one of these. I love this knife set. It's a Japanese knife cutting set that my lovely handsome significant other got me. He knows how important my food cooking business is to me, so I thought it was a lovely Christmas gift. Normally I shun any man who gets a woman something that is a food cooking device or a house cleaning device, but when you enter the chef industry you find you really like gifts like this, so you got to pass this year. So we just want to make even small slits to the best of our ability. Keep your hands out of the way because these type of knives are sharp. Any knife is sharp, so you always want to be careful. I have a cutter I could use to do this, but let me tell you something. That thing almost took half my finger off. So I only pull it out as necessary from now on. I'm in no real hurry to use that thing. We're losing onion. Yeah. So as you guys know, on Saturday, I do my deep cleaning of my cooking studio space. So everything's clean here. So a few onions fly off and I pull them back on the board. No harm, no foul, because we're ready to go. Look at how pretty that's turning out. It's not low enough. You can't see what I'm doing. There we go. All right, so we made the crossway slits very fine in here. And we're just cutting our onion up. I watched my grandmother do this like for years and just always wondered, like, how am I going to be able to master that? Because it ain't the easiest skill in the world. And when you get to the bottom, sometimes you'll find that it's easier just to then do a separate thing like what I'm doing right now. And it doesn't have to be the finest chop in the world. But you want to try to get it as fine as you can. You know what I mean? It don't have to be the finest chop in the world. But you do want to try to get this as finely diced as possible. I find that the cutter that I bought to make my life simpler doesn't even get it as small as I want it half the time. So doing it this way actually is better for me. So even once you have them on the board, you can still just continue to go through carefully like this. Try to make it as small as you want it. Just like that. So, all right. Now what I like to do is slide things over in sections. And I knew I was about to forget my leeks. Now with your leeks, you gotta do extra steps. When you slice your leeks, you're gonna have to also soak them in water. They will rise to the top. The dirt that's in them will go to the bottom. So that'll probably be the last vegetable that I dice. The next thing is, we're not going to do the tomatoes yet either, simply because it's going to be a while before we need them. Tomatoes and the leeks will be the last thing we do, but what we are going to get into is the mini sweet peppers. These are very easy because they're mini. You can just chop them up into rings. Very, very, very easy. And they're going to be incorporated into our stuffing for our chicken. Just a very fine, even chopping of the ringlets. You want to throw that part away. No one wants that in their food. That's why I keep the small bag close by, so I can just put stuff in there that needs to be thrown away. Again, throwing that away. Making sure you cut through all of these. If you did not, they're fairly easy to separate. Like so. Do the same thing to the next one. Keep your fingers curled under to try not to cut your fingers. Sometimes you still get a fingertip though. I'm gonna let you know because I've done it before, so just be careful. As always, just enlightening you to my upcoming trips. We're going to do Baltimore in April. We're going to do Salisbury in June or July. And we're going to do Miami in August. Some of y'all might see me posting pics in Miami in May, but that's just a personal trip. That is not a food work trip. That is not part of my food tour. That's just because I like Miami. And hope to one day have a home there, even if it's just a vacation home, because the beach is truly my happy place. If I had my way, I'd have a home in both Ocean City and Miami that's just mine, so that it is something that me and my family can use regularly. So make sure you separate them, get them all lined up. I'm going to be cutting up some plastic here in a little bit. I bought it to keep my family safe during COVID. Like if someone got sick, I got some professional grade plastic sheeting. And I find it works good also when I need a space to pound meat. Because the important part of the stuffed cooking breast is pounding them flat. Which you all will see me do once the meat has, you know, got marinated and I'm actually ready to cook it. The first meat that's going to go in, of course, is the beef because it takes the longest to cook. Although, again, they're just neck bones, but they still take long to cook. You're going to cook them on low and slow because you want them to be tender. So, there we have what we're doing so far of the dicing. We have the onion and we have the peppers, which will become part of our stuffing. We're also in the stuffing going to incorporate spinach and some other things, but, you know, we don't really need to chop that down. I might, but I kind of just like leaving it in a leaf form. But we'll see what I decide by the time I come back. But here you go. Alright, so we're back with our leeks. I'm just going to show you this. I don't feel like I should have to. But believe it or not, when I first started making leeks, I did not know I had to clean them first. I served a few gritty meals. This was like 5 years ago when I discovered how delicious leeks are in a meal. So I chop mine like as thin as I can get them. And then we're just going to put them in a bowl of water, and we're gonna let them soak so I'm ready to use them. And then you swish them around with your hand or with a spoon, whatever you prefer. But I feel like the hand is better because you can really feel what you're doing. And that's just to get like all the dirt out of it, because the dirt travels up the stem when these grow, and so there's all kind of grit in here that you just kind of have to be aware of, so that you don't serve that to people. Because like I said, I did it once before, and it took me a while to figure out that dirt is in there. Like, actually I can show you, I think. So if you look, you'll see all those little specks. That's dirt. We want to get rid of that. We do not want to serve that to people. So always be sure that you take your leeks and that you put them in some water and just let them kind of clean themselves. That should be enough. And here I have a nice mixing bowl of water. And we're just going to take those and we're just going to drop them in. And hopefully by the time I come back and whisk them around a bit to get all the dirt out, they'll be ready to use. So you just kind of get all your pieces and you just kind of act like you're washing someone's hair or massaging or whatever. Push the rings out of the ones that are still together so that you make sure that you're able to get all the dirt from in between. And I suggest doing the same thing, honestly, with like celery. It's just something else that tends to grow with a lot of dirt. And your mushrooms, always rinse them. But yeah, you're just going to mix these up like this. And you're going to let them sit. The dirt will sink to the bottom. The leeks will stay on the top. Still separating a few pieces here. But yeah, so that's all we need to do for now. Let everything else sit for like another hour. I want my meat to marinate another hour, and then we'll come back and we'll begin cooking. All right, guys. So we're getting ready to start the beef neck bones Sunday dinner. I have next week's Sunday dinner already planned out too. Sunday dinner was such a big deal growing up in my house, and it's crazy because my life became so busy most of my life that I never got to do Sunday dinner. So I'm trying to get back into that now. I'm trying to like give my family that special love on Sunday of Sunday dinner. Can't always do it. Not gonna say it's gonna happen every weekend, but I'm trying. So the first thing we're gonna do, we marinated these. And I'm gonna show you what one of them looks like marinated. Look at it. Just drip it over the sink here. I'll clean it up. But look at how beautiful the coloring is. Alright? So what you want to do is you want to spread them out. I marinated these for, I'd say, about 12 hours or so. Wash my hands. And clear out my sink while we go here. Alright, so the second bag now is what we're going to do. You just want to spread, the marinade smells so good. Like, I wish you could smell it. I know the smells that are about to fill this house are about to be amazing. I'm going to put a little bay leaf in here just for some aromatics. If you don't know what that is, folks, Google aromatics when cooking. It's kind of important. It's a big deal. And I'm trying to keep my pretty velour suit out of the bag, but it keeps going in there. Alright? And then I like to even just use everything that was in there. I didn't do it the first one because you don't need them both. Alright? We're going to wash our hands again after touching some raw meat. Use a little soap. It's important. You don't want to make people sick, folks. Alright, so I'm going to show you what else we're going to add to this. Now that we have it in there. Be right back. You can stare at that for a sec. So the first thing we did was I am going to use just a little bit of that onion that I diced earlier for this also. Even though I diced it originally for the chicken, I made more than enough over there, so we can go ahead and put some in there. It's sweet white onion, first for flavor. orange pepper off this. Never mind, it's in here already. All right, and then what we're going to do is, oh, if you hear me talking, it's to my daughter Trinity. And Trinity and I are going to be making foods that are teenage friendly, or even friendly for those of you who do not know how to cook at all. I guess we'll call them super beginner recipes. So I just lay a few bay leaf in there. All right, and I still got a few, I hope, to use with my chicken. And so I love bay leaf for seasoning. Bay leaf is one of the components in Old Bay, although nobody talks about it. We're just going to sprinkle a little more onion powder, although this already had onion powder in it as part of its marinade, but just a little more. You can't really see, can you? There we go. Just a little more. And then, finally here, what we're going to do is add just a little orange pepper. And then we're going to let this kind of just begin slow cooking. This is going to end up being like a barbecue sauce when I'm done, but I have not created the sauce yet. I will be getting to that shortly. It's going to be a little spicy, just a little bit, but it's going to be good. All right? So we're going to cover this up like so. Okay? So we got it covered, and now we're just going to start it on like a low, we're just going to turn it up originally to like 300, and then we're going to come back once it starts cooking, and we're going to do a low and slow 250 for a couple of hours to make sure that meat is really tender and easy to get off the bone. Be back in a bit. All right, so I'm chopping up. I bought some French bread loaf from Walmart. It's very, very cheap, especially when they're trying to get rid of it. And the best thing in the world to use is stale bread when you're making stuffing or croutons. It's just like the absolute best. Still not low enough. Ugh. There we go. So this is going to be part of what goes into our pieces of chicken. We're not there yet, but I do want to go ahead and start getting these nice and toasted. Normally I would season them, but we don't even need to, because we're going to put so much stuff in here. It's going to be so flavorful, literally, that the bread is going to just end up absorbing those flavors on its own. There is no need at all to season this bread like I normally would if I were making croutons or other things. Like, literally none. It's going to be so flavorful and so good. It's going to be yum. Don't want to lose none to the floor here. All right, so you just want to chop these up like so. I think I have, I can't remember if it's 5 pieces of chicken breast or 6. But because of all the other components we're using, we're going to toast these so that we can crumble it. And so this is actually more than enough for what we're doing. So I just want to show you that. I'm going to get it onto my sheet. I have a nice large baker sheet, which also comes with a rack for draining meat. Just want to place those on there. You know what? I forgot a step that I absolutely insist on doing just so nothing sticks. I always spray things with my non-stick spray. You can buy butter flavored. I choose just to buy like the regular flavors, vegetable oil type. And then you're just gonna put these on there. You know, put them in your oven on, like, I think 250 is plenty. It really depends on how hot your oven gets. My oven gets pretty hot. So at 250, this should be enough. Kind of make sure that they're laid flat, like so. I hope y'all are enjoying my videos, and if you are, please remember to subscribe. Click that subscribe button at the end there, because every subscription matters, okay? All right. So I'm gonna put these in the oven. You can drizzle, like, just to promote the toasting. Drizzle a little oil on them. I keep some oil in a squeeze bottle, the same squeeze bottles that I use for plating decor, like the sauces and stuff. I keep extra ones just with oil in them, and you just drizzle oil on them, And it helps them toast a little evenly and a little faster. And it also, like, I'm using vegetable oil, so it doesn't have as much flavor. But if you use olive oil, it actually adds flavor. And it's, like, absolutely divine. Alright? So we're going to get these into the oven. And we're going to be back in a bit. Okay, guys. I forgot the absolutely most important step of these neck bones. Ground allspice. See, sometimes when you're multitasking, I'm not a morning person too, y'all, and you get off to a start too early, you forget. I use allspice anytime I make neck bones. It has to happen. Be as generous with it as you like. It will give it a sort of like nice, hearty, soul food Caribbean flavoring. I actually ended up using half of this. It is a small bottle though. Put the top back on. This is one of the seasonings I also use on my oxtails. Let me tell you something about my oxtails. Everyone loves them to the point of that's all they ask me for. I wish someone would ask me to make something else besides oxtails. But my own children, like, Mom, when I'm coming, I need oxtails. Everyone loves my oxtails. They are so tender and so well made. I'm also going to be making goat soon. So, yeah, that part. And it's going to be equally delicious. I just want to give a little stir because I got too much on that one piece right there. So you can just use your wooden spoon to do that. And we're going to put the lid back on. And from there, oh no, soap. And from there, let me rinse that off. All right. From there, we are all good. I'm going to put the lid back on and we're just going to let that cook for like at least another hour before we turn the temperature down to 250. Then we're going to end up turning it down to 200 because we want to still cook these and we want to make sure they're extra tender. Be back soon. All right, so we're back. These are toasted. I didn't let them get brown and toasted because we don't need to do all of that to them per se. But what I'm going to do real quick is grab my food processor. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the breadcrumbs and we are going to place them into our food processor. I'm going to turn this a little bit so you can see better how we're doing this. Okay. Turn another light on. Alright, I'm back. So what we're doing right now is we are going to take the breadcrumbs that are here. We're going to begin to feed them into the food processor. You can hear the crunch, so they are definitely toasted. And drizzling that oil on them is what gives that wonderful toasting in half the time. Alright? Turn it so you can see. Put those in there. The shelves in the main kitchen are much larger and much fuller. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to render these down into something smaller. Alright, now we have what's going to go into our stuffing. Y'all couldn't hear me, I'm sure. I don't know, just the weirdest thing ever. And I got a lot of cleaning up to do after that little mistake. But what we're going to do basically now at this point is, that was weird. That was super weird. What we're going to do at this point is we're going to move our tray very quickly. And we're going to lower, well no, it looks like you can see, which is great. So the first thing we're going to put here before the crumbs is a little onion. That was so weird, y'all. I have no reasonable explanation for it. I wish I did. Like, that's one of those things, like, you just don't even know how to begin to explain it because it's so strange. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. So we're just going to grab this stuff, put it in here. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, other than pick some plastic up, this shouldn't be where it is for me to fall. We're going to get some spinach. I told you I'd make a decision as to whether I was chopping it or leaving it whole. We're going to decorate our chicken with some left whole. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to chop some. And so it goes into the mixture easier. I'm still baffled by what just happened. That was actually kind of frightening. From a safety standpoint, like I'm not scared of my food processor, but yeah, that's. So we're gonna chop up the spinach a little more finely, just so it goes into the mixture more easily. That was wild, guys. Alright. Chop up a little more here. Hopefully you can see. Let me move this a little bit to make sure that you can. Okay, there we go. Alright. I'm just finally chopping up some spinach to put into our mixture here that'll go into what, along with cheese, stuffs our chicken. It's a pretty warm day here today in Georgia, coincidentally. So there's that. I did see a video yesterday, guys. Y'all know I'm from Maryland, and Thrasher's French fries is a pretty big thing back home. And I'm kind of jealous because I was just in Ocean City like 12 days ago. And so evidently yesterday they had a big event at Thrasher's and people were wrapped around the boardwalk for fries because the Oscar Mayer Wiener car was there. I would have liked to have done that with my daughter while we were there. That would have been nice if it had happened while we were there. But, you know, yeah. I didn't realize Thrasher's was open even this time of the year. I thought they waited till Memorial Day weekend to open, but that's pretty cool. And I think just a couple of these more and that should be plenty. I'm sleepy today, y'all, so pardon me if the energy is not the same way I normally am. I'm pretty tired. I don't even know why. I just been in lazy mode most of this week. I think it's because my insomnia decided to return. For a while, I had found a way to get myself to sleep at a reasonable hour, but those days seem to be gone again. So, there we go. Alright, so then what we're going to do is we're going to take our bowl, our nice pretty bowl here. I'm going to put the spinach in. I'm going to move back over to the other table here real quick. It's like a juggling match when I'm doing all this stuff, right? Just have to keep moving. Alright, bring you guys with me. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the leeks in. I'm going to push some sleeves up though so they don't get wet. Because remember, our leeks have been soaking in water just to make sure we got any soil and dirt and grit out. You want to mix them a few more times before you actually put them in the rest of your mixer just to be sure you got everything. So just so you can see, we've got chopped onion, peppers, and spinach. Now we're going to put in the leeks. Aren't they pretty? It smells so good too. It's like the sweet version of like onion and garlic mixed together. delightful. We're going to have some extra, which can be for garnishing when we're done. And I like to use my hands. Just make sure your hands are clean. Mix all this up together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my balsamic. And in case you're late to the party, I've already got the marinated beef neck bones going. So just want to show you how pretty this looks. So you can see it. Alright, before you put the balsamic in though, you're putting in your breadcrumbs. So that's the whole reason the balsamic has to go in. Alright, I'm going to set this over here on this tray. We're going to deal with our what almost turned murderous food processor. Still not sure what the hell happened there. We're going to put this stuff in. Wish I had a better explanation for what happened, but I really don't. I don't know. I mean, I forgot to put the black thing on top. My daughter's like, you do know. But it still shouldn't caused all that. Like, that was wild. Alright? So, we're going to put some balsamic in. Just enough till you see a nice brown coating on your bread. And then our hands are going to do some mixing again. This is going to be the mixture along with your cheese that goes inside of your smashed chicken breast, which I think I am about to begin doing in just a few minutes. So, just want to show you what we got there. Pretty, right? Nice mixture. I'm going to go wash my hands. We're also cleaning off the lid for that bowl. Just making sure it's clean there. Alright, we're going to cover this up so we're ready to put it in our chicken. Keep it nice, safe, and secure. Put it back on the shelf, wait till we need it. What I'm going to do right now is clean up some of the mess that was created by our explosive moment with the food processor. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so we have our chicken out. Let me grab a knife. Already got my meat tenderizing hammer over there. Where'd my knife go? Okay, losing my mind. Oh, there it is. Okay. So what we're going to be doing at this point, you can see how beautiful they look after being marinated. What we're going to do at this point is you want to go through the side carefully. I almost took my finger off this then. See, that's what I'm saying. This stuff is sharp. You're going to go through. You want to split it down the middle. See what I'm doing there? And after we split them down the middle like so, we're going to begin with our meat tenderizing mallet. Alright? I'm going to move my phone back so it doesn't get juice all over it, because this could get a little messy. I'm trying to find a stable spot for it to sit. Hopefully it doesn't fall. But yeah, I'm making a mess. Hold on 1 second. This is bad. This is really bad, y'all. I'm going to get some plastic to put over it because I just totally ruined my window. Be right back. Give me 1 second. You know what? I already have some wax paper though. That'll do just fine. Yeah, we're going to have to cover it because this is messy. Might not have been that messy if it wasn't marinated already, guys, but because it's got those liquids and those seasonings on it, yeah, it's going to be messy. So we're going to do this right here. We're going to put this on top. You want to make sure you keep track of what you used on the poultry so you don't give people salmonella. And this is when we're going to continue to just hammer it down. And that's still not working. It is flying everywhere. Today's studio time is crazy, right? We had a couple of mishaps. I think I'm just going to hammer gentler. And that way, hopefully, it won't go everywhere. It might still go a bit, but not as bad as it was going a few minutes ago. So you want to look under, see how nice and flat you're getting it. We're good to go. Now I have a few more of these to do this too, but I just want to show you how it looks and how it thins it out. Because your stuffing is going to go in there, so you want to get it as flattened out as possible. My neighbors downstairs are probably like, what the hell is she building? Not building anything, I'm cooking. But I'm sure to them it sounds like I'm up here building something. Your wax paper may tear apart a bit, but it's wax paper, so at least it's not sticking to the meat like some types of paper would. So you don't really have to worry about that translating to get in somebody's food. I'm just going to take it off at this point because it's just coming apart too much. Just going to keep pounding till we get a nice flatness on it. Or at least flatter than it was. Wow, it's literally flying on everything. Hopefully it's not on my phone. Okay, we're good. You want it as evenly smoothed out as you can. I might do the next few of these in the kitchen just because I prefer to clean that area up than this. But here you go. It's nice and flattened out and we're ready to go. And I'll be back in a bit when I'm ready to stuff. Alright, so we are back. Got the chicken all pounded out, which I'm about to show you how that turned out. I have now sanitized my kitchen with my antiviral spray and antibacterial spray. After the chicken went everywhere as I was pounding. We're going to put some fresh cilantro in this stuffing too, because cilantro just pairs so well with chicken. Like, it's just like the most amazing thing ever as far as a fresh herb to cook when you're making chicken. I do it when I make my white chicken Alfredo chicken lasagna. It just has to be in there, y'all. Has to. So we're going to put that in. With clean hands, we mix again. Alright, so we got that mixed pretty good. We're going to grab our cheeses because that's important here. So the cheeses we're going to be using are Gouda and mozzarella. Alright, actually that's a mozzarella and provolone mix. It is so hot in here today, y'all. I feel like I am melting. Like, I don't know why it's so hot in here. I'm trying not to turn on the AC, but I may have to just because it is really that warm. All right, so got you there. I'm going to step over real quick and turn on some AC so I don't melt while I'm cooking. So warm. Not enjoying that at all. We're going to grab our freshly cleaned cutting board. Set that there. I need to get a spoon to make it easier for me to put things into our chicken. All right. So I want to show you the chicken first. I'm going to set it over here so there is no chance of cross-contamination because we don't want that. I have an area over here where I'm sitting the mixture that you can't see, but there we go. And before I do that, I'm going to stop this video real quick just to get a picture of the chicken. Okay, here we go. So, with clean hands, we're just going to grab a piece of chicken. You want to make sure that you came prepared for the party. Hold on, I lost something here. Luckily it's in a bag, or else it would have been dirty and contaminated, and we would not have been happy about throwing away a whole item. So, here we go. It's still just not enough light. I don't know why it's like this today. Hopefully you can see everything. I'm sorry it's not the brightest it could be. You want to make sure you have your cooking scissors because you'll need to cut your twine. Alright? So, and one more thing, because we want to already have these open, so we're just ready to go. Open our cheeses. Like so. Now we marinated this chicken, right? But we still are going to need to provide some additional seasoning since a lot of the marinade came off. So I like to use the usual all-purpose from Firehouse Real Goods Society. It is one of my favorite seasonings. It's one of the first things I replace once I run out of anything. It just has to happen because I love it. It's really just so good. Get in there. So we can open this up. Alright. Put the top back on. And at that point, we are just going to begin to sprinkle. Alright, you see that, right? It's probably not close enough. Let's move you down here and up a little bit so you can really get a good view of what's going on, hopefully. Alright, so we put some of that on. I'm getting low on black truffle salt, so we're going to use this sparingly, but we are going to give a few sprinkles of that as well, just a few. Alright. There is one very important component I forgot. See what happens when you're like rushing? You forget. There were supposed to be tomatoes already sliced up for this as well also. We're going to use a different knife because, you know, cross-contamination. We do not want any of that to happen, especially when you're working with a poultry product. So we're going to cut these over here on the opposite side of the table. You want to cut them thin because they need to like be able to stay in here pretty good. So we're just going to put like this. Not a good day to decide to cook while wearing velour. Right. So then you're going to put some mozzarella. Remember, mozzarella expands when you cook it. So just remember that because it's going to get messy. Alright, and then just a little Gouda, like so. Now we're going to come in, and you can use a spoon, or you can use your hand, whichever one you feel comfortable with. I think my hand works the best. So we're going to put some of that stuffing that we made. It's not really much stuffing, which is what I was trying to get my child to understand. She hates stuffing. I'm like, you haven't tasted it yet. You don't even know what's going to be in here, sis. Alright. So you got that, right? And so now what we're going to do is we're going to close. Alright? Now, we got everything in there. Some people might feel like you don't have to do this step, but I want to make sure I don't lose anything while I'm cooking. So I'm going to tie this sucker shut. These are going to be so good. Like, these are really, really, really going to be good. I can't wait for you to see how they turn out. You can go right under. You should be able to just slide it under and tie it off. Tie it as tight as you can. Some people use toothpicks. You can do that, but this secures better. I remember my first time making braccio. It's an Italian stuffed meat dish, and I quickly found out that I should have had butcher's twine. It makes life easier, folks. Get you some. Just want to tie that off nicely, like so. So I'm going to spin this around so you can see what this looks like. once it's done being tied off. All right. And then I need to get a tray to start placing these in. Until I'm done, then I'll rinse off my big baking sheet and put them back. And it has to be cleaned first because, again, we're working with poultry. So just so you can see what we have, let me bring it down a little bit so you can really see. This is it. This is what it looks like stuffed. If anything is falling out before you can get it in the pan, you're in a great position to just stuff that back on in there. Okay? Just like that. They're also going to be cooked with some smoked paprika on top. Grab in the pan. Alright, so I'm going to work on the others and I'll be back in a bit. Alright, here we have them. The stuffed chicken breast about to go into the oven. Just going to zoom in close so you can see everything that's in those. I'm also going to slightly drizzle them with balsamic before I put them in. And I'm going to cover them with foil for the first half of the cook. Alright, so I just checked on my beef neck bones. They're still a lot tougher than I'd like, so we're going to let that continue. So now we are getting our green beans in. I like to leave mine whole. I do take the ends off, but I don't like snapping mine in half. I think they're pretty on the plate long, so that's how we're going to leave them. I'm just getting these all in here. Just want to make sure you get all the ends off. Although, honestly, I find when you slow cook them, the ends even get tender. But, yeah, I'm just going to take these off. Cleaned and sanitized everything with some antibacterial stuff in between the chicken use. Make sure you do that. If you're using the same chopping surfaces, same knives, you got to sterilize them so you don't make people sick. All right. This is the hottest. We moved in here when it was warm out, so I don't remember being this hot cooking. Maybe it's just me today. I don't know. But basically, we're just getting all these ends off. Some you can twist off, some you need a knife. Twisting's faster, so let's hope we can just continue that process unless y'all want a 2-hour video today to watch. Alright. So some of them don't have ends on them, in which case you can just get them on in there, but y'all just want to check them. And what we're going to be putting in these, of course, is some salt and pepper, some seasoning. I might use a little orange pepper. We're definitely going to use some liquid smoke. Did you know if you do baking soda in your greens or beans, it makes them tender faster? But I'm not sure where mine is. It might still be packed from my last little trip out into the world. Yeah, I actually bring some of my own supplies when I go places just to cut back on costs. So we're just taking that off. Oh, we got us an end. I see another one. Try to get them all. Nobody's perfect, so you're not always going to get them all, but do your best to get them all. Just going to be putting those in there. I think I might need to run to the liquor store. Weird, right? But no, I actually cook better when I got a little something to sip on. It happens. It happens. And to answer my daughter's question, no, I'm not walking because I'm tired. My daughter got a new purse and she's dying to show it off somewhere. I'm walking to the print shop tomorrow. That'll be your opportunity. Alright, so yeah, just getting all these in here. Again, snapping the ends off. No, I don't understand why it's so hot in here. Heat does rise though. All I can think is that maybe my neighbors are cooking something downstairs too. Because I've never felt my kitchen be this hot. This is wild. Alright, so getting these all in. We're also going to add broccoli to this mixture. I like doing mixed vegetables, and in this case I decided to mix green vegetables. And then I'm going to put on my potatoes so that I can smash them later, cook them, let them cool down some. We're going to add our butter and milk to those. I mean, I hope most of y'all already know how to make mashed potatoes. I don't feel like I need to really show y'all that. Hopefully you know. Alright. Most important thing for your mashed potatoes, they're similar to cucumbers and tomato. And they need a lot of seasoning or else they're bland as hell. So please make sure you salt, butter, whatever else you want to add to your mashed potatoes. Whether it be chives or ranch, you got to add something to them or else it's going to be bland as hell. And there's nothing worse. Other than non-baked macaroni and cheese, there's nothing worse than bland mashed potatoes. Seriously. Alright, so just getting the rest of these in. What's everyone else making for Sunday dinner? Maybe this can inspire you to try to make what I'm making today next week. And if you do, please, by all means, drop me a note or a line and let me know that I inspired you. That's always cool. Next weekend, for our Sunday dinner, we are having my rather loved Italian meatloaf, collard greens, and I am making macaroni and cheese, but Alfredo flavored. So full of lots of the white cheeses, but not that bland-ass white macaroni and cheese that a lot of restaurants serve you. This is going to have lots of flavor, and it's also going to have bacon in it. That is next week's Sunday dinner, though. I almost forgot I need to make my dough for my biscuits for today. Glad I just thought about that. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to add our broccoli in. Fresh broccoli. I hate frozen broccoli. I know some people prefer it, and it is quicker, and it probably is one of those things that might taste just as good, but I like to do fresh when I can. I'm not going to lie to y'all and say everything I always make is going to be fresh and not from a can. That would be a lie, because sometimes I'm sure that would be necessary, especially if time is an issue. But overall, the fresher the ingredients are, the better your dish tastes. So always try to use fresh if you can. And fresh vegetables don't cost as much. I know like shopping organic stuff does. Unfortunately, I wish I could buy organically grown vegetables. But hell, since that's a little more pricey unless a customer asks me to, then this is the way to go. They may not be organic, but at least they are fresh and they're going to taste fresh and be represented as such in the dish, which makes a difference. I'm going to mix them up. Next, we're going to add some salt. We're going to add a little bit of the usual all-purpose seasoning again, because it's really so good, y'all. I can't explain to y'all how good this is. I don't add butter when I cook it. I give people butter once I'm done cooking. If they want to put it on their plate, they can. We're going to add a little Old Bay because, you know, everything needs a little. Old Bay is really good on vegetables. If you read the container, you'll see it on there. And let's see. Just a little vinegar. One good pour. And then about 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke. And that container was empty anyway, so I'm glad I got to use that all today. Show it to you. And now I'm going to put it in the Instant Pot, which my Instant Pot also was an air fryer, but of course we're not air frying these. We're going to put it in Instant Pot, and we're going to put it on the steamed vegetables setting, and we're just going to wait for it to get done while everything else gets done. Talk to you in a bit. So I just want to show you this. So what I did was, when you have, we're working with 2 poultries. Earlier this week I made smothered turkey. Usually what happens, because I make an excess of gravy, I had all that nice, like, gelatinous leftover gravy cold in the fridge. Since I didn't save any of the chicken to make the chicken stock this time, I added that, and then tomatoes and spinach. So basically, oh, and a little heavy buttermilk. Once you do that, you're just going to let that simmer for a little bit. We've got our steamed veggies done. We've got, let me show you, hopefully you can see, we've got the homemade biscuits rising in the oven. The chicken was done here. The beef is done. So basically, dinner is almost done. Walk you guys over here with me. And over here, maybe it's easier just to bring you around this way. Look. Perfect mashed potatoes made in your food processor. Add butter, buttermilk, and salt, and it's perfect. Gonna be so good. So what we're gonna do now is, and if you remember the stuffing that I made, we're gonna save some of that to garnish our plates with, because we didn't need it all for the chicken. As a chef, ideally, you want to waste nothing. Use everything. So yeah, by saving the turkey gravy, I cut down one step. And I'm going to wash these, but these are dessert ring cutters that I use to make perfectly cut biscuits, that I use to plate rice when I want it in this shape. Great stuff. Again, it's so hot here, y'all. But yeah, I'm about to be back in a little bit. And basically at this point, we're going to do a quick, like you know how I do the video and show you everything. Then we're going to show you a plate, and then we're going to get it moving and start eating dinner. Happy Sunday. All right, guys. So the first thing I want to show you is these perfectly creamy mashed potatoes. Look at them. And if I could only let you taste them, they're so good. You know I had to taste them. The chef always has to taste before she feeds people. Then we're going to come on over here. You see that cheese in those biscuits? You see those flakes? We're just going to take your stick of butter. This is how I like to get the butter going on mine. Just want to melt them. They just came out the oven. So you want to do this like right away. Like so. Ooh, child. Perfection, honey. I already put butter in the mash when I made them. But we're going to leave this butter out. But I'm going to take this off the tripod real quick. Oop. Now you're seeing me. Hey. So these are those perfectly made cheese biscuits. Look at those. Just look at it. It's absolute deliciousness waiting to be consumed. Close up of the mashed potatoes. Looks delicious, right? What I want to show you here is those barbecue beef neck bones. And the next thing you're going to see once I cut the strings off the stuffed chicken and put the gravy, I'm going to start plating. So the very last thing you're going to see here is the plate all complete. I wish you could smell this. The curry and the allspice and the barbecue mixed together on these neck bones. Woo-wee, y'all. Okay, here we are. So you see the creamy mashed potatoes, the stuffed chicken. Underneath that chicken, you'll see the rest of the garnish that we made that was the original stuffing. We've got our steamed broccoli and fresh green beans. And we've got a really slow-cooked tender beef neck bone. And then we've got homemade from scratch cheese biscuits. And what we're going to do right now, because it's all in the sauce, baby. Y'all know it is. It's all in the sauce. We're going to take some of this sauce and we are going to drizzle some of this luxury right over that stuffed piece of chicken. Look at that. Oop, we got a piece falling away. I don't even know what this piece is. I think a piece of pepper. Not even sure how that got in there. But for flavor, it can't hurt. I'm going to give it just a little more. And now what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to put this back on the stove. And I'm going to zoom on in, guys, and give y'all a picture and a spin around video. Be right back. All right, guys, here we go. The spinning video. Sunday dinner. Sunday dinner. Get more light. Here we have the smothered stuffed chicken. Look at that. The creamy, smooth mashed potatoes. The fresh green beans and fresh broccoli with a smoky taste. The beef neck bone cooked until tender with a hint of barbecue and curry flavors. The homemade cheese biscuit. And what you can't see from that side is that that stuffed piece of chicken is sitting on a bed of all the veggies and a little bit of bread that we use to actually stuff it. Come above, give you the above view. Ooh, honey. Now that'll make you say hallelujah on Sunday. Enjoy.